What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. Actually, let me back up to the moment I'd been sitting in my car outside Mom's house, staring at those documents for 20 minutes before walking in for Sunday dinner. 2 years of bank statements, every transfer highlighted in yellow. Every amount, every date, every request that had become a demand. I'd printed them that morning after my sister Amber's text. Sunday dinner. Need to talk to you about something important. Be there. I knew what was coming. She'd been dropping hints for weeks about wanting to pursue her passion and live authentically and other phrases that meant quitting her job without a backup plan. Inside Mom's dining room, Amber sat at the table with her fiancé Trevor, both looking pleased with themselves. Mom was setting out her china, the good stuff she only used for important announcements. Thanks for coming, Daniel, Amber said as I sat down. I have exciting news. I set my folder on the table. Go ahead. I'm leaving my job at the law firm. I've decided to become a full-time artist. I'm going to paint, maybe open a gallery eventually. Trevor's supportive. And we know we can count on family during the transition. She said it like she was announcing a promotion, not voluntary unemployment. How long is the transition? I asked. However long it takes. 6 months, maybe a year. We'll need help with rent, probably $2,800 monthly, plus living expenses. Maybe $4,000 total. Just until I start selling pieces. We're family, Mom added quickly. You have to support us. That's what families do. It's your duty, Amber said, smiling. You're doing so well, and I've always been there for you. Remember when I let you borrow my car in college? When I helped you move? I opened my folder. I've been thinking about that. About everything you've done for me, and what I've done for you. I pulled out the first stack of statements. These are bank records from the past 2 years. Every transfer I've made to family members. Amber's smile faltered. What are you doing? Providing context. I slid the first document across the table. January 2 years ago. You needed $3,000 for wedding venue deposit. I sent it. I was going to pay you back March that year. You needed $1,500 for wedding dress alterations. Daniel, this is weird. Why are you keeping track? May, another $2,200 for catering changes. July, $1,800 for honeymoon expenses. I kept sliding papers across the table. September, $4,000 for your new apartment's security deposit and first month's rent. Mom reached for the papers. Daniel, what is this about?
Transparency. I pulled out the second stack.
Year 2, January, $2,500 when Trevor's car broke down. March, $1,200 for your dental work. June, $3,200 for the summer vacation you desperately needed. You offered to help. Amber's voice rose. Did I? Or did you say you needed help and I said okay and you took that as an offer? I spread out more statements. August, $1,900 for furniture. October, $2,800 when Trevor was between jobs. December, $3,500 for Christmas gifts and holiday expenses. Trevor was staring at the papers, his face pale. That's a lot of money. 24 months of transfers. I pulled out my final document, a summary I'd created. Total to Amber and Trevor, $47,600. The room went silent except for the kitchen clock ticking. But that's not all, I continued. Mom, you needed help with the roof repair. $8,200. Your car transmission. $3,400. The cruise you took for your birthday. $2,800. Various emergencies over 2 years. $6,900. Total, $21,300. Mom's hand trembled on her wine glass. You're saying you kept track? Of helping your own mother? I'm saying I documented reality. I pulled out one final paper. Combined total to family over 24 months, $68,900. That's $2,870 per month. Every month for 2 years. Amber stood up. This is sick, Daniel. Keeping score like this. We're family. Exactly. We're family. So let me ask you something. I looked at each of them. When was the last time any of you asked if I could afford this? If I was okay? If I needed help? Silence. When was the last time any of you paid me back like you promised? We were going to, Amber started. When? Give me a specific date. Amber, one time you actually paid back a loan. She couldn't. Here's what really happened, I said, my voice steady. You borrowed my car twice in college because yours was getting detailed. I paid for gas both times. You helped me move by showing up 2 hours late and leaving after 30 minutes. I paid the movers $400. Every single thing you've claimed to have done for me, I either paid for or did myself. Mom set down her glass. This is hurtful, Daniel. We're trying to support your sister's dreams with my money. You're trying to support her dreams with my money. Just like you've been doing for 2 years. Because you have it. Amber's face flushed. You make good money. You don't have kids. You can afford to help family. You're right. I can afford it. I have been affording it for 24 months. $68,900 worth of affording it. I stood up. But here's what you didn't know. I was saving to buy a house. I had $95,000 saved 3 years ago. I should have $180,000 by now. Instead, I have $112,000 because I gave you $68,900. Trevor spoke for the first time. Daniel, we didn't know. You didn't ask. None of you asked. You just assumed I'd keep giving because we're family and it's my duty. I picked up my folder. So here's what's going to happen. I'm done. No more transfers, no more loans. No more emergencies. You want to quit your job and paint. Great. Fund it yourself. You can't do this. Amber's voice cracked. I've already given notice at work. We've made plans. Based on my money. Plans I never agreed to fund. Mom stood up, her face tight. If you walk away now, there will be consequences. Family isn't something you can just quit. You're right. But being a bank for my family, that I can quit? That I am quitting. I walked toward the door. Daniel, Mom followed me. You come back here. We're not finished discussing this. I turned around. Actually, we are. I've spent 2 years and $68,900 proving I'm a good son and brother. I'm done proving it. You want my help going forward? You can ask like adults, explain why you can't fund it yourselves, and accept when I say no. Which I probably will. You're being selfish, Amber said, tears running down her face. After everything we've done for you, I pulled out one more paper from my folder. I'd saved it for this moment. This is a list of things you've claimed you did for me, with actual costs and who paid them. Every single item was either paid by me or cost you nothing. You've done for me exactly $0 in actual financial support over 10 years, but you're right. I'm the selfish one. I left the paper on the table and walked out. My phone started ringing before I got home. Amber, declined. Mom, declined. Trevor, declined. The text came in waves. Amber, 6:34 p.m. How could you embarrass me like that in front of Trevor? You made me look like a user. Mom, 6:41 p.m. This is not how I raised you. Call me right now. Amber, 6:55 p.m. Fine, don't help. But don't expect me at your wedding or to meet your kids someday. You made your choice. Mom, 7:12 p.m. Your sister is crying. She's devastated. I hope you're happy. I turned off my phone and sat in my apartment, the modest one-bedroom I'd stayed in to save money. The one Amber had called sad when she'd visited. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt tired, but I also felt free. The next morning, I called my bank manager, Linda Foster, whom I'd worked with for years. Linda, I need to set up some account protections. What kind? I want to prevent anyone but me from accessing my accounts. No joint holders, no authorized users, nothing. And I want alerts on any attempts to add anyone. Daniel, what's going on? I explained the situation, the 2 years of transfers. The Sunday dinner confrontation. Linda was quiet for a moment. I'm going to be honest with you. In 15 years as a banker, I have seen this pattern a lot. Family members who fund everyone else's lives, then get blamed when they set boundaries. You did the right thing. It doesn't feel right. It rarely does at first. But Daniel, you gave them $68,900. If they can't respect a boundary after that, They weren't respecting you to begin with. She set up the protections. Then she said something that stuck with me. Real family doesn't require you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. By Wednesday, I'd received 47 calls and texts from family members. Mom had apparently launched a full campaign telling everyone I'd abandoned Amber in her time of need. My Uncle Paul called. Your mother says you're refusing to help your sister. Did she tell you I've given them $68,900 in 2 years? Silence. That much? Every dollar documented. Want to see the receipts? Jesus, no, Look, your mom made it sound like Amber asked for one favor and you went nuclear. She asked me to fund her unemployment for a year. After 2 years of me funding her life without question. I said no. I would have said no too. Paul sighed. Your mom's not going to like this, but ... do kid. Someone needed to stop enabling Amber. My Aunt Rachel called next with a similar story. Then my cousin Mike. One by one, the family members who actually asked questions sided with me. The ones who just believed Mom's version stayed angry. I was okay with that. 1 week after the dinner, Amber sent a different kind of message. Trevor and I had a long talk. He didn't realize how much you'd given us. He went through our bank statements and showed me. Daniel, it's like every time we had a problem, we just called you. We didn't even think about it. That's messed up. I didn't respond, but I saved the message. 2 weeks after the dinner, Mom called from a restricted number. I answered. Daniel, please, can we talk about this like adults? What's there to talk about? About your sister? About family obligations? About forgiveness? Mom, I gave you $21,300 in 2 years. But she's struggling. Then she needs to not quit her job. That's the solution. Not my bank account. You're being cruel. No, I'm being done. There's a difference. 3 weeks after the dinner, I received a letter. From Amber. Daniel, I withdrew my resignation. I'm staying at the firm. Trevor got a second job. We're cutting our budget by $2,000 a month. We can cover our own expenses. I'm not apologizing because I'm still processing everything. But I wanted you to know we're not waiting for rescue anymore. We're handling it. I showed my therapist those numbers. She said $47,600 is not a normal amount to accept from a sibling. She said I've been treating you like a parent instead of a brother. She might be right. I don't know when I'll be ready to talk to you again. But I'm working on understanding why I thought this was okay. I read it 3 times, put it in a drawer, didn't respond. But I didn't throw it away. 1 month after the dinner, my financial advisor reviewed my accounts. Your savings rate has increased by $2,870 monthly, she noted. At this rate, you'll hit your house down payment goal in 9 months instead of 2 years. I should have stopped funding them sooner. You stopped when you needed to. That's what matters. She smiled. Daniel, you're 34 years old with $112,000 saved, 0 debt, and a clear path to homeownership. You're doing better than 90% of people your age. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting that. My phone barely rang anymore. Mom sent weekly texts I mostly ignored. Amber didn't contact me at all. The extended family had split into Camps Team Daniel and Team Mom, and I stopped caring which side anyone was on. I'd started seeing someone I met through a hiking group. Her name was Sophia, and when I told her about the family situation, she'd said, "You gave them $68,900 and they called you selfish? That's not a family problem. That's a them problem." 2 months after the dinner, I ran into Trevor at a coffee shop. He was alone, looking tired. Daniel. Hey, Trevor. Awkward silence. I got a copy of those statements from Amber, he said finally. The ones you showed at dinner. I went through them line by line. Okay, every time we had a problem, we called you. Every single time. I didn't realize we'd made you our safety net. He looked down at his coffee. That's not okay. That's not how family should work. No, it's not. Amber's seeing a therapist. We're both working. We're figuring it out. He met my eyes. I know you probably don't want to hear from us, but I wanted to say thank you for all of it. And I'm sorry we took it for granted. I nodded. Take care of yourself, Trevor. He left. I sat with my coffee feeling something shift. Not forgiveness, not quite. But maybe the beginning of understanding that some people actually could change. 3 months after the dinner, I sat in my apartment on a Saturday morning, reviewing my accounts. Savings, $120,847, growing steadily. Monthly transfers to family, $0. Stress level, lower than it had been in years. My phone was quiet. My budget was mine. My future was mine. I'd started looking at houses. Real houses with yards and space and possibilities. Houses I could actually afford because I wasn't funding 2 other households. 4 months after the dinner, I got a card in the mail. From Mom, Daniel, I've been talking to a counselor. She asked me to look at those numbers you presented. Really look at them. $68,900 in 2 years. I didn't realize it was that much. I thought you were just helping here and there, but it wasn't here and there. It was constant, and we just kept asking. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted to say I understand now why you stopped. And I'm sorry I called it duty instead of asking if you were okay. Mom, I read it twice. Put it with Amber's letter. Still didn't respond. But the weight in my chest felt lighter. 6 months after the dinner, my life had completely transformed. Savings, $129,500, 9 months ahead of my original timeline. Family demands, 0, peace, priceless. I'd put an offer on a small house with a backyard. Nothing fancy, but mine. Actually mine. Sophia and I were getting serious. She'd met Uncle Paul and Aunt Rachel, the family members who'd taken my side. We'd skip the others for now. Amber texted occasionally now. Brief updates. Got promoted. Trevor started his own business. We're doing okay, never asking for anything. Mom called on my birthday. We talked for 5 minutes. Surface level stuff. She didn't mention money. Neither did I. 8 months after the dinner, I closed on the house. Uncle Paul and Aunt Rachel came to help me move. Sophia organized the kitchen. My coworker friends hauled furniture. Amber sent a text. Heard you bought a house. Congrats, you earned it. I responded. Thanks. It wasn't reconciliation. But it was communication. 1 year after the dinner, I sat on my back porch, drinking coffee and watching the sunrise over my yard. My yard, my house, my future. My phone was quiet. My mortgage was mine to pay. My success was mine to enjoy. I'd given my family $68,900 over 2 years. I'd been called selfish for stopping. But I'd also learned something valuable. Real family doesn't measure love in dollars. Real family asks if you're okay before they ask for help. And the family members who'd understood that were the ones still in my life. The sun rose higher. Birds sang in the trees I now owned. And I sat in the peace I'd bought by finally saying no. It had cost me $68,900 to learn that lesson. But it had saved me my future. And I never regret that.